What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we'll be taking a look at Willard, directed by Glenn Morgan, starring Crispin Glover. Okay, I'm gonna try to make this review as short as I possibly can. Um, I thoroughly enjoyed Willard. I think this is a really good horror film. I think Crispin Glover as Willard Stiles gives a fantastic performance. I like the character of Willard. I like how he's like this antisocial misfit, doesn't quite fit in anywhere. And Crispin Glover, just the man himself, has an eccentric personality. So you take that personality of Crispin Glover and you apply that to the character of Willard Stiles. It's like a perfect fit. Glover's performance in this movie is hypnotic. You can't take your eyes off him. And Crispin Glover is one of those actors that can do more with facial expressions and body language than he can with dialogue. And I think Glover just completely owns it in this movie. I buy the relationships that Willard has with his army of rats, particularly with the two rats, Socrates and Ben. Socrates being his favorite rat, and Ben pretty much being the de facto the second in command, pretty much to Socrates. But Ben is more also the jealous one and the one who wants to have complete control. And I kind of like the power struggle that goes on between Willard and Ben, though very understated. But I also like what goes on between Willard and Socrates also. And I buy that Willard values the friendship of these rats as his real friends, and Crispin Glover does that expertly. Another thing that I like about this movie, I like Arlie Ermy as this movie, who plays Willard's boss, who pretty much bought out the company that Willard works for, which was originally owned by Willard's dad. And Arlie Ermy is Arlie Ermy. He's fantastic in anything he's in. And in this one, he plays a piece of shit dick boss to expertise. He when you see Arlie Ermy on screen as the boss, the movie tries to con you into thinking that this guy is, he's a good guy, but at the end of the scene, you're like, this guy ain't good at all. He's a piece of shit. And when he gets his comeuppance at the end of the movie, you're like, good for you, Willard. Good for you. Uh, and I and I also enjoy the supporting cast as well. I like the actress who played Kathy. She plays. She and Willard develop a friendship throughout the movie. It's a little underdeveloped for my taste. I didn't get really enough scenes with them, but what I was given, I kind of sort of bought it, and we go from there. But this movie's more main focus is on Willard's relationships with the rats and his rivalry with the Arlie Ermy character, and I think that's where the movie is at its strong points. Is seeing Willard pretty much be just be put down by his mother, be put down by his boss, be put down by everyone, and the only solace he can get is from these rats. And again, I cannot praise Crispin Glover's performance in this movie enough. This was his first lead in a movie, and it's a damn shame it took this long for him to be a lead in the movie. It's a damn shame he hasn't really gotten another lead in the horror movie, because the guy is really talented. Other things I enjoy with this movie, I enjoy the cinematography of this movie. I like Glenn Morgan's direction. He does not go for no cheap scares. He builds up suspense. He builds up atmosphere until you get a scare. I think he handles it. I think he does it perfectly. I like this movie's visual aesthetic. Glenn Morgan has really cool visual cues in this movie that I think are actually really cool. And I like how this movie takes place in modern day 2003, but it has an almost 50s, 60s aesthetic to it, with the wardrobe and the costumes and the way that the office building looks like. It's something straight out of the 50s and 60s, and I like that very vague time period type deal. But you do have cell phones and computers also, so it's kind of like Batman the animated series in a way, where the aesthetic is 1940s, but you have all these high tech computers and stuff. And that's something that Willard, the movie itself, did, which I thought was actually pretty cool, and it gives the movie a very distinct visual style to it. So yeah, despite some minor criticisms with Willard and the relationship, overall this is a damn good horror movie. Willard, Willard, Willard is fantastic. I liked it a lot. It's got good chills, got good thrills. Crispin Glover gives an outstanding performance. Arlie Ermy gives a great performance as a bastard. This movie's got good visuals. It's got good scares, and yeah, I can't praise it enough. Crispin Glover, Willard. This movie, for me, gets a solid 9 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. All right, anyway, those are just my brief thoughts on Willard. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? I would like to know. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.